Namaste, Dr. Latha Satish.
Namaste, Apurva.
Very happy to have you in my conversation series. And I just want somebody from YouTube to just confirm if they're able to hear our conversation live. So once they comment, we can begin the conversation. Yeah, the viewers are here, so I think they're able to hear us. Okay, Dr. Latha, I think we can start the conversation. So, to give a brief introduction of Dr. Latha Satish, she's a well-known psychologist and she has been associated with the University of Madras for almost 25 years as a research scientist and has a lot of experience in research, and also she counsels people often. So, with this, we'll begin our conversation. Which is about the mind, and I think it's very relevant at this point of time to have a very positive and healthy mind considering the current situation also. So, and I think there could be no better person than Dr. Latha who can tell us about this.
Thank you, Apurva Raghunandan, for inviting me, and it is a pleasure to converse with you. And as you say, there are so many better people who can talk about the mind, but I'm really excited about your questions. I said, okay, I'll spare some time and share with you. And so that if somebody is interested in some queries, they can also ask. Thank you for inviting.
It's our pleasure. And just before we begin, the audience can post their questions in the comment section, and we will answer those questions. So it can be posted in the comments on YouTube, so it will come to us here. Okay, so we'll begin the conversation. So can you please tell us what the mind means in a layman's term?
Yeah. So basically I will talk from a layman's perspective. The whole universe of mind has been very exhaustively dealt in psychology across the world. I don't want to talk about the theories and everything, but layman's person's point of view, right now both of us are conversing. This conversation is a transaction between you and me via online, but still you are able to understand something that I say, and you are able to ask me some questions. So this whole ability of us to understand, perceive, know something, experience something, and at the same time interact with the world, all this happens because of the mind. Mind is a part of our body. It's also a part of our body, which is an instrument for us to execute some action, understand something, and do something. So it is a sum total of all those things. So basically in psychology, we cannot directly see the mind. What we see is only the actions or the behaviors of the mind. So mind is sum total of all the processes of our own understanding and action and reactions to the world around us.
So more can be understood by perceiving somebody's actions. So rather than mind as a separate entity. So rather than it as a okay.
Yeah, see, basically, if you take a fundamental unit of the human physiology, like let us say you have tissues, organs, you have a lot of things, like the gene, the fundamental unit of information is gene. Likewise, if you take the fundamental unit of a computer and its processor, it is bytes. Likewise, the fundamental unit of our all interactions and activity and everything is behavior, which depicts the mind.
And we often hear about this link between the mind and the brain. Sometimes it's very difficult to understand this. So how does the mind actually impact the brain, or does the brain impact the mind? What is psychologist's perspective of this? And because we generally don't get that clarity. Is it the brain which is doing all this, or is it our mind which is doing all this? What is exactly the bridge between the two?
See, mind is, one aspect of understanding mind is through the brain and its function. So the fundamental unit of human mind and its process, one aspect of it, only one aspect of it is brain. So there is a big discussion about, is mind confined to brain? So there are some theories to say no, brain itself is not mind. Mind is bigger or powerful than the brain. So I would like to say that if you take the structural components of the mind, physiological substratum of the mind is, one part of it is brain. But even if the brain is not processing information, there are so many processes which goes within our consciousness, which we call it as mind processes. Like when a person is in coma, you can also sense certain things. So that is where the concept of mind is beyond the brain comes. So this is an eternal question, and one whole group of scientists are focusing on the fundamental aspect of mind processes in terms of neural behavior, neurotransmitters, and the brain. So the whole area of cognitive neuroscience focus on one aspect of the mind.
So this makes us ponder over this question. So like say somebody's in coma, and you get the next question, they're brain dead, but their mind is still very much active.
Yeah,
in a way.
We don't know how to demonstrate, but there are some communication which goes to them and they react to it, probably with some twitch of the thumb or something. So we don't know. So that is why mind, the brain is not the ultimate reality of the mind. Maybe one aspect of it. So something like that.
So coming to the link between the mind and the body, we do very often hear that the mind has a very important role in healing various diseases or physiological disorders in the body. So can you just throw some light on this? How exactly does this happen? We are aware that if our mind is sound, we do feel good. That is definitely there. But how is it actually impacting the different organs in our body, or what is its role here? How is it actually impacting?
See, the fundamental mistake that we do is delinking the body and the mind. Absolutely, there is no delink at all. They are integrated. It's like, no, they are together. Let us say there is a skin. Behind the skin, there is some musculature, and probably there may be nerve endings that are going. So we don't say skin alone. So when the moment I cut the skin, a part of my musculature gets cut, and there may be probably nerve endings also may be affected. So it's like that, not integrated. So likewise, the body is separate, mind is separate, is not there. Only because we see the body, we think the body is separate. We don't experience the mind in that sense, no physical sense. There has been a mistake that people think mind is there. From the top of the head to the toes, the end of your toenail, the body and the mind is integrated. And this is beautifully demonstrated. When you hit the toe and somewhere, when you hit the toe, immediately you say, why? The toe should not have been bothered about it. No, because there is a pervasive awareness throughout the body. That pervasive awareness is a component of the mind, characteristic of the mind.
That's a wonderful example, what you've given us.
Yeah. So don't make a mistake of body is different, mind is different. I mean, I don't say it's a mistake because we always have been using that language. So the languages, they are integrated. The moment you are born, when an embryo is developing, likewise its sensation is also developing, everything is developing. It simultaneously happens.
We do hear a lot about positive thinking. People say that you have to always think positive, try to not be as negative. They think, look at this brighter side and things like this. And also there's a very famous book called The Power of Positive Thinking. So is it just like a placebo effect, or is it really having a lot of impact on us? Positive thinking, just apart from just the feel good thing. Can you just tell us a little more about this? Like, how exactly is positive thinking going to not just help our body, but our whole life as such. What is your opinion on this, on being
See,
positive?
yeah, Purva, it's like this. Now, we will take this as a component of our own mind. We are exposed to various things in our life. Like we are growing, developing. Mind is getting formulated, constructed. A structure is formed. It interacts and everything. So it absorbs some negatives. And then, see, body, when we absorb something negative, we just take a bath, cleanse it, we become pure, something like that. Or, for example, there is an elimination process where throw out the waste products and we become pure, isn't it? So, likewise, the same principle applies to the mind and its processes also. So, the processes of the mind also has a tendency to become more and more negative. So it can be in the form of emotions which are extreme, or it can be in the form of a thought which becomes too unfunctional, dysfunctional, or it can become extreme in terms of certain beliefs which are never going to help in life. So those are all negative thoughts or negative feelings or behaviors which affects our own existence and functional well-being. Of course, it affects the others also. So the positive resources in the mind is also inherently can be there. Just like there are certain parts of our own system which are very, very functioning well. Likewise, mind also has an ability to hold on to the positive thing. Now, what is positive for me may be negative for somebody else. For
True.
example, I love to express my anger. I don't want to keep it myself, within myself. That is for me it is positive. For my sister or brother it is negative. Why you're always shouting at me, blah blah, something like that. So this positive concept involves those part of your mind which helps you to function well, understand reality appropriately, know what is your limitations or advantages, and the positive resources are those which helps you to move forward, not stagnate. So like that, there are certain qualities, certain characteristics which consider it as positive. So this is again eternally changing, but still we hold on to something as positive. Like anger. Anger is good, it is essential for survival. But too much of anger, too much of hatred can become detrimental. Not only detrimental for me, but for people around. So then it becomes negative. So this positive negative is a continuum and its criteria varies and its criteria differs.
So, can we say this is again very relative? Like you already said, this is positive for me, maybe negative for somebody else. So, in
Yes.
that case, do we have to actually look into ourselves and actually find out what is it that is working for me or what is positive? So, is it something like a personalized approach?
Yeah,
Generally considering a situation.
yeah, it is sometimes like your own reflection, self-reflection. Sometimes you can model behavior from others. It's like there may be some good models from whom you imbibe positive. And you have to keep your eyes open and look around the society and see what is appropriate. Of course, positive actions, positive thoughts, and positive feelings may be nurtured in the family. So you can observe that. So, in the context of your question, you have asked is positive state of mind. And since I'm talking about mind, I'm saying that positive state of mind is characterized by a certain amount of flexibility, focus, reality orientation, optimistic attitude, and emotional stability. So there are some 11 to 12 components which are considered to be positive because it is considered as very, very good for the well-being of everybody, not only yourself. So how do I develop it? It is not only through self-reflection, it is through nurturance, through modeling, and also through certain various sources. Our mind develops not just because we reflect, it develops because of exposure and experience. Exposure to knowledge, experiences with people, transformative experiences. So there are vast areas of learning, vast areas, reading certain books. For some people, no, when they read some books, it makes a lot of transformation. Their
True, true.
attitude changes. Yeah, no? So like this,
Yes,
there are
yes.
the possibilities are many, Apurva. There are many. See, I came into this conversation because I feel, no, you are doing something to elicit some good thing from people. That is a positive activity. And
Yes,
if that
yes.
can influence one or two people, then that becomes a. And we cannot always self-reflect. Sometimes it's so difficult.
That's true. That's true. So now again, looking at this point, that is positive thinking, has it really helped people in coming out of illnesses? Now we also spoke about how this is very relative. Now say somebody is having any disease or any kind of physical disorder, and if his or her mind is strong, is it that they get the strength to fight the disease? That is one aspect of it. Or is it anything more than this? And I'm sure that you would have done a lot of research on this, like, and probably seen many cases where people have recovered faster than somebody who was not very positive in thinking with regard to having the ability to fight a disease. For example, like let's say we have the pandemic now, COVID. So if we actually see this, and can we say that a person who is more positive, more strong-willed, is able to fight this disease and come out of it compared to somebody who's clouded with fear, uncertainty in their minds?
Yeah, this is very strongly shown. I consider laughter as one of the positive qualities. Laughter. And same way, resilience. Resilience is taking everything as a challenge. Adversity, no? This pandemic is an adversity. And your ability to take it as a challenge, that ability is a positive resource. So I have done some research on emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is a positive resource. Or being optimistic is a positive resource. Or social support. Somebody who is giving a social support to somebody else. So when a person has this quality, their ability to fight the diseases will be much better. This is not the only thing, of course. Okay, just because I am being positive, I am optimistic, I laugh around, I won't get COVID. No, don't think like that. At least it will help you. It helps you to stay afloat without much of cost. The cost effectiveness will be better, cost will be less. Like for example, humor. I consider humor is one of the best way to boost up your immunity. So one of my
True, true.
sisters sends lots of memes. I enjoy reading it because that makes me to feel a little bit. Of course, there are people who are really distressed. They have lot of anxiety, depression, and they have anger and all those things. So what happens? The quality of the mind is it drags you away. It drags you into the same cycle of brooding, worrying, angry, hatred, then again communication, then you post in the media or social something that we call it as reactivity. So the more reactivity increases, your ability to cope with the problem becomes less. So therefore you have to shift from that mode to action mode, from brooding mode to something that is more action, more recuperative. So that is where hobbies comes important.
Hobbies.
Dance, music, writing, even cleaning the bathroom. All these things are all considered to be a positive resources, which makes the mind to align that to its stability.
That's great. We have each of us have to
I
explore
wish
a good
this to
hobby.
all young. Yeah, I wish all this to all young people like you, youngsters like you. So the more you take to something very, very lighter and positive and more sturdy in your emotions, your next 5 to 10 years will be very strong because you have faced the biggest challenge in life. No job, no money, no college, no friend circle, no entertainment, especially no malls, no movies. I mean, of course, can see online movies, but still the social contact is not there. So you have been like a tapasya for you without any of this entertainment. So you have faced a major challenge in life. So next 5 to 10 years will be really good. It's
That's
like
that's one.
relaxation.
That's
Stress
wonderful.
inactivity. No,
Oh
no,
yes.
I'm not playing as if no everything will go away and everything will be right and all that. We want to be more realistic of this. That's it.
Since you anyway took the word stress, I also thought of asking you a question. How can somebody understand what exactly is stress? Because everybody says I am stressed, I am stressed. So what exactly is happening to them? One is we are all aware that we are frustrated, we are unable to take it. What exactly is going on, and can you also tell us some simple ways to come out of stress immediately? If somebody is stressed and they know that they're going through this situation because of stress, how can they immediately, or I can say if not immediately, within a short span of time, how can they come out of stress? Something like instant relief and also long term, both.
Yeah. See, stress is again a big technical term, but I'll just give a simple example. Let us say in your shoulder, I put one sack of gunny bag of rice. You're able to carry it. Okay, you will move around and somehow you will unload it by dropping it down. If I put two loads of rice, no 100, some 50 kgs, no, after some time your shoulder will pain and you just feel like dropping it. Even after you drop down that gunny bag, your shoulder will be aching. That is called stress. Mental stress is also like that. Mental stress is some pressure in the mind to do something. It can be uncertainty, it can be unpredictability, it can be a frustration, or it can be changes which you don't expect, unexpected events. All these things put a load on the mind that is called pressure. So that is called stress. A trauma. A trauma is also stress where you don't know what to happen. Something that unpredictable has happened. So stress can be acute or chronic, depending upon what the situation is. So this is normally we are equipped for that. Mentally we are equipped for this. The moment we are born, no, we can't do dancing. We take time to grow up, no, like that. But what happens is there are sometimes it becomes too much beyond your capacity. Then it causes problem. Okay. So the stress here right now, the modern stress during the pandemic is unpredictability, uncertainty, economic turmoil, social problem, plus my fear and worry increases. No college, no school, nothing, and a lot of this uncertainty makes everybody feel stressed. And again you're seeing the same face, isn't it? So again you're
Yes.
feeling the same thing. And even in food also same thing. Probably you'll repeat one day you'll do something, but other. So this constancy of problem where, and there's no clarity about information. Which information is right? Should
True.
I do this or should I?
True.
So these are so something to avoid. That is a stress. We call it as very traumatic stress, or as the event is happening, stress is there. So how do we cope with it? So there are many suggestions. Of course, there are experts who give many things. There is meditation going on. Everything is there. But I was on psychological. There are different components of this. Anxiety will be there. Anger will be there. Sadness will be there. Or mood disturbance will be there. Worry will be there. So for each of this, there will be many things. First important thing is you have to learn the art of relaxing. First important. Relaxation through some means. It can be music, it can be sports, it can be walking, it can be some form of physical activity, or even it is some breathing exercise you can do. So that relaxation gives the space for the mind to become a little
Dr. Latha,
calm.
I think your video is just lagging. Can you just adjust your video a little bit?
What do I do?
Can the viewers please confirm is the video fine? Can one of you please comment and let us know if is it freezing in between? Yes, Dr. Latha, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear. So can I just make it a point to finish this point?
Yeah,
So,
I think it
so
should
the
be fine. I just asked them. Yes, yes. Dr. Latha, we are hearing some disturbance in your voice. Just let me just confirm. Yeah, I think yes. They are saying it's fine. Okay, we can, yes, we can continue the conversation. I
so
just
the
wanted
first
to
thing
check
is,
once.
yeah, I just try to take few minutes because there's no point in that. So first thing is some form of relaxation because it gives a window space for your mind to become alive. Second is you have to do a little bit of what we call as mm, a form of hobby or activity which diverts your mind away from the stressful thoughts. It can be a hobby, it can be a reading, it can be writing, it can be anything. There are 100 different activities one can do, keeping the mind in mind the distractions of the COVID. So generally, many people say when they paint, they feel very happy. When they write a poem, they feel very happy. So these are all diversion tactics, which increases your confidence. Cooking, anything for that matter, which are very good diversion tactics. See, for example, when I'm cooking daily, for me that won't be a diversion tactic. For me, that is more stressful. I have to do something which is other than what I usually do. Okay, you understood that
True.
significance. So there may be a lot of
Correct.
housewives here, so I just want to put them in. So the diversion tactics. Diversion should be anything that is constructive and takes your mind away from the stressful situation. Two. Number three is, of course, you can use some form of constructive activity where you sit and analyze the source of your own stress and other thing and appraise it in a different way. That we call it as cognitive restructuring. Question that. Question your thoughts so that you come out of that negative thinking so that you will be less stressed. It's which you need a little bit of help from some coaches. Lastly, you should have some form of where you inquire about your own self, which we call as journal writing or talking to somebody,
Okay.
some people. So usually it can be a helper. So you can seek help. Seeking help, writing a journal, or talking to somebody, whomever you feel is comfortable, is also a stress buster. Which used to happen when we go outside, but now it doesn't happen. No? That's why now listening, when somebody listens to you, you feel so happy. And you have so many helplines. National Disaster
True.
Management Authority of India, as well as the NIMANS, as well as
Yeah.
lot of this social network group. Every person have opened a helpline and listening for one of the best place to outpour your stressors. You may not get all the solution, at
Yeah.
least it helps to bring it down.
This brings a question to me. Like you say, it's always good to seek out help if anybody is going through any kind of a problem, whatever it may be. So, but here we see a lot of people are hesitant. Is it because they fear that they will be judged? Is that the reason? Because I don't say somebody who has a mental illness. That's not what I'm trying to say. It could be a small, any kind of situation in life which made them mentally unsound or whatever. But people hesitate to come if they are having depression and many people commit suicide. We know that, and that's the reason is they don't pour out what is it that they felt, and that's because of that they just bottled up and they didn't know what is the solution for this. So I think from what you say, I can understand that it's important to we should not hesitate to seek help. So if at all we are going through any kind of an uncomfortable situation, right? So, and we do see a lot of youngsters also doing these things these days. And can we say that the previous generation was stronger mentally than this present generation? Is it anything to do with our lifestyle, or what are your comments on this?
I do
No, people did ask me to ask this question. Not judgmental. In fact, I got this question. I did get this question from some people. So I just want to know because we do see a lot of things in the news. Or is it always it's
See,
been there? Is it like that?
see, even this pandemic itself is now affected different generation differently. See, for example, older generation, they have already passed through their life, which is active part of the life is over. They are just sitting back and they need comfort and probably health assurance. That's all. The present generation, which is middle-aged group of people, are still have to achieve, build something, do something. So they are affected in one way, and they may be resigned to the fact. The layer of the people are around 15 years to 25, 30-year-old who have to get a job, who have to study further, who have to make a livelihood, and who have to get married. So for them, everything looks uncertain. So their amount of the stress on them will be very different. And then down the line is the youngest generation, which is children. And I am really worried about them because once they know that there is something like, there is a pandemic, maybe. So the question who is affected, it depends on the age, socio-economic status, support system available, and their pre-pandemic status level, mental status
True.
level.
That's true. That's true.
Pre-pandemic mental status. So that's why it is a complex question as far as who is going to be affected more and less. Now the question of older generation. Now the older generation is now the eldest generation. Okay. Now I will put myself into that. So the whole social structure was different, economic structure was different, and everything was different. So we cannot compare that. Were they more resilient? Yeah, they have also faced the Second World War.
True.
Pandemic flu.
Spanish flu also. Yes.
Spanish flu. So we learn from history a little bit, but we also the context varies, no? So therefore, so when something happens, at home, the elderly will take it very easy. These things are like this only. But the younger ones will be nonsense, like this at stake. That's how it will be. So the thing is, you have to create your response and resilience according to the context. So you can model some of the behaviors of elderly generation, which may be useful. At the same time, you have to come up with something. So this is a process of transformation. So you have to develop certain skills which are much more efficient than what your people did long back. So some of my colleagues in the different community, they say that us generation we failed in our duties. That's why we are facing something. It's not like that. It's a survival evolution process. Probably our own. The climate is changing. Can I go and adjust the climate? No. All I can do is not throw the waste. I probably plastic waste outside. To that extent, we can contribute.
That's true. We have a question from the audience. Miss Geeta Satish is asking this question. How to break the chain of thoughts when I'm in between some work? So that is the question. How to break the chain of thoughts when I'm in between some work? From Miss Geeta Satish.
Yeah. So thanks, Geeta, for this question. How to break the chain of thought is to divert the mind with something consciously verbalizing. One of the easiest technique in psychology is when you verbalize something. Let us say I am doing something, I am writing a report, and as I finish the report and give some thought comes, some negative thought comes to my mind. Immediately I can just verbalize it again. Latha, do not bother about it. You have finished your work. Now I will now focus on this part of it, and I will try to do this work complete. I have to complete this work. So this way, when I verbalize something, that breaks the chain of thought. Number one. Alter the breathing. That also breaks the thought. Now, if you have a way of communicating, you can just say some communication which will help you. My God, this is over. If you say like that, probably that will also break the chain of thought. The chain of thought is a cognitive pattern where the repeatedly same thought comes again and again. So usually by focusing the attention on the task itself can also break the time. Like for example, if you are folding the clothes and the thought comes to you can say, now I am folding the towel, I am putting the two ends together, and then I will fold with the third fold, fourth, fifth, sixth. If you verbalize that, it immediately cuts the thought. Suppose you are doing some passive activity where you are reading a book. You are reading a book, you are in that particular para, but your thought goes somewhere else. And suddenly you realize that you are nowhere near the book. So one of the technique for that is active reading. Active reading is you put your finger there and read loudly. You get up, walk up and down the room and read loudly. That will cut the thought. Because thought is a chain, goes on as and when we keep on holding on to them. To come out of it, you have to divert it to something else.
Yeah, I can recollect. That's why we were asked to read out loud when we were studying in school. So they say you're writing, you're reading, you're also listening. So it's like three parts of your body are being used. So I can just remember and relate to it.
Yeah. Multiple sensations. When you use multiple sensations for your attention, cut the thought. Against Geeta, this is one thing. When you are using the sensation of touch, sensation of hearing, sensation of visual image, all the three are used, you are grounded in it. For example, when you're watching something, let us say, when you're probably watching a movie. Usually in watching the movie, your mind won't go anywhere. It will be on the movie you are thinking. Suppose you are listening to me. You are listening to me, one part of your mind has taken off to something, some other thought. Now, suppose if you do some awareness to your mind, if you bring the awareness about what is it that Latha Madam is using, she's using her hand gesture. You focus on the hand gesture and you focus on the silencer that I used in the talk. Then what happens? Your attention gets back to this. You won't be distracted.
True. That's
sense of touch. Especially when you're cutting the vegetables, your thought is going. Use the sense of touch to feel the vegetable. That is called mindfulness. All sensation grounds you into something that you want to do, so that your mind doesn't go away.
Okay. So I have one last question for Dr. Latha Satish. Meanwhile, if anybody else in the audience have questions, they can post it in the comment section. So by the time I finish, I will see your question, so we can get that also answered. Okay, so we hear this very often that a sound mind leads to a sound body. This is very, very popular saying also. And so can you please throw some light on this sound mind and sound body a little more? What we read is fine. I mean, what is your perception of it as somebody who is so experienced in this field of psychology?
Basically, whatever happens at the body affects the mind. Whatever happens at the mind level also affects the body. There is a bivariate relationship. It cannot be linked. Okay? Even the emotions, like suppose I feel sad, that sadness sends some amount of transmitter to the end of my cell, so that I feel it throughout the body. So that is how it is. Emotions are the best way expressed is only through the body. So when the moment I smile is I'm the happiest person, and throughout the body I feel it. That's all. I can't mimic a smile. It's very difficult. So sound body, sound mind is when it's like a temple. Your body is like a temple where you have to keep your body flexible, stamina, energy should be there. It should be free from all the unnecessary, unwanted things. That is called sound body, which is functional. I'm only looking at the sound body as functional body. Functional is, suppose if you are a student, you should be able to sit in your class for nearly for at least 1 hour or 3 hours, depending upon your class duration, comprehend what the teacher says and able to reproduce it. To that extent, your memory should coordinate your ability to understand. For that, your body should be able to sit. Suppose you are sitting in the class and you are feeling sleepy, then it is not the sound body. You feel sleepy. So that is, the body, maybe you would have eaten too much, or you would not have exercised, or you lack interest in the class, sleepiness comes beautifully.
True.
Yeah. So that is the body affects the mind. There, comprehension and everything. Sound mind affects the sound body. It's like you gave the example, no positive resources in a person helps them to cope with the disease. Like I said,
Yes,
no
yes.
laughter. If I laugh at whatever I have done, no, I'll be the happiest person. I'm not bothered about what happens to the body. I mean, the body will take it, whatever it is. So when I went for my diabetic checkup to one particular hospital long back, nearly 20 years back, no, I saw a video being there, put there with all the amputation of the leg and gangrene, etc., etc. It was a threat message. In psychology, we call
True.
it as a threat message. The moment I saw that, I said, I'm not going to come to this center at all. Because I was not even diagnosed of a diabetic or not, but I just went for a medical checkup, comprehensive medical checkup, and I saw this message. So there, the mind affects my body that please I get scared about the diabetes. Something like that. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, there was
Hello.
a small cut in the conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, you were telling us about sound body and sound
So,
mind.
yeah, basically the summary is that if you take care of your body, your mind also takes taken care of. If you take care of your mind, body is also taken care of. And both are integrated together.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Hello. Is
Hello.
it? Are we back now? I think yes. I
Yeah, we
think
are
we.
back. I think you have exhausted a lot of questions and I feel nice.
Thank you so much, Dr. Latha. It was very kind of you to be a part of this conversation. I'm sure that our viewers have also got a lot of information on the mind and various myths and confusions which they may have had. And I hope that everybody had a good. Just a minute. Somebody is saying there's no sound. Hello, are we back? Are you able to hear us? Rupa and Geeta Satish, and I see a couple of comments here. Can you please confirm if you are able to hear us? I think we'll just wait for a few seconds, Dr. Latha, so that one of them just confirm.
Yeah, many of them have lost us, sound.
Yes, yes, there was a there were yes, yes. One of them said yes. I think in between they just lost you. I think probably you can just I think just conclude the last part of sound body, sound mind, so that they just get it. So I think they just lost us there, I guess.
The part of it is like how body, something happens in the body, it affects the mind. When something happens in the mind, it affects the body. It's mutually related. It's a continuum. They are always together, like I said in the beginning itself. So when you pay attention to your mind and its activities, it helps you to keep your body intact. And you pay attention to your body and keep it healthy, stamina and everything, it keeps your mind also very fresh. See, the simplest relationship between body and mind is the exercise. When you exercise, it can be shuttle, it can be sports, it can be swimming, any form of exercise when you do, it elevates the mood, the state. Serotonin level increases. So the mood becomes very positive. That's all. So that is the sound body, sound mind. When you have really
Yeah.
enjoyed a joke, a humor, you feel so light in the body. When you laugh aloud, very happily, you feel light in the body. This is sound mind, sound body. That's so simple. So
That's a nice way of understanding.
you you should
True,
gravitate
true.
to that.
Do you mean it works in tandem? A question from Rupa
Yeah, yeah.
with regard to what
Yes,
you've.
yes, 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 yes. It works in tandem. Like there's absolutely no. This is one thing. This is one thing. They are so integrated. So integrated. Even the slightest amount of a thought which is negative can just go around and do something. Only thing is they are not aware of it. That's all.
So yes,
That's
I
it.
think we don't have any. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, Dr. Latha, you were
That
saying something?
that is why human beings have discovered so many talents, so many competencies we have discovered to keep ourselves happy and healthy. Health affects to both body and mind. Happiness affects both the body and mind. So just the way we have certain
True.
flexibility in the body, mind also has to be flexible. Thank you. I
True,
think that will be
true.
sufficient today for conversation.
Yes,
What
yes,
is
we have covered more of what we had planned, and that is
what?
great. And
Thank you.
thank you so much, Dr. Latha. It was very nice of you to come and join me in this conversation. We look forward to see you often with
Yeah.
different aspects of psychology. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
I
and
agree.
special thanks to all. Yeah, yes, yes, yes. You were
Actually, no,
saying something.
I just want to tell, no, I am not focusing here on the field of psychology. It's so vast. That is not it. My job was
True.
just to share with you how the mind is, what mind
Share.
is, what it
Yes,
is.
mind,
Yeah.
mind.
And thank you, Apurva. I hope this was useful for you and to your audience here. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure
Thank you so
talking to
much.
you.
Thank you, namaste, and thanks to all the viewers. It was very nice to be a part of this. Thank you so much.
I'll be looking forward to a lot of conversation with different people, faculties. I
Yes.
mean, different disciplines, so that we will enjoy this process. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm taking